One of the biggest things I've noticed in starting a YouTube channel is how long or how much longer everything takes, because you're constantly thinking about camera angles and this and that and the other, and then you slowly start to fall behind on some of the things you want to get done around the house. So today's not so much a specific topic or a how-to or anything like this. Today's going to be a how much can we get done in the space of 8 to 10 hours. It's now 9:15 in the morning. So, and we've got, I want to build an in-ground bed for the pumpkins and a few other vegetables, onions that need to be planted out. This always happens too. I forget what I need to do now. I really need to start writing lists. I've got tomatoes that I want to do my experiment with, but I don't have some of the things for it. But I could plant out a couple of the others because I've got a lot. They're all the cherry tomatoes, the golden cascades. I've got flowers that we need to plant out. What else did we need to do, Rigby? For the life of me, I can't remember what else I needed to do. But we'll also be battling the rain. It's sort of like a hazy spit at the moment, but hopefully it doesn't get any heavier. But first I'm thinking in-ground bed. That'd be the biggest task for the day. So the chicken coops, I'm going to take up this space here. It will end about here, going back to about somewhere along here, creating a pathway for these beds. So if we start somewhere about here, and maybe go in line with this post here, I'll be able to put the pumpkins and everything into this. I was going to do an experiment with the pumpkins, but I probably won't do this now. The original plan was, because it's quite clayey soil, I was going to dig a hole, almost like it was a pot, and then fill that with potting mix, because the clay creating a nice barrier, and that would give the pumpkin all the root space it needs, almost being like grown in a container. And I was going to compare that as to just digging a hole in the ground and planting the pumpkin in your lawn. Now, mark it out. Use the level. That's going to represent outside of the chicken coop, thereabouts. So we have a 700. Something like that. How much of a pathway do you reckon? And that would give us a coop that's I really got to get a new tape measure. Oh, stop doing that. 3.2. Alright, we'll go 3.2. Okay, this will be our garden bed. That level represents sort of the boundary where the chicken coop will be. That line there is where it will go to, the chicken coop. So then the garden bed here. So that gives you a small pathway around, and then up here, between here when the coop goes here. I always picture having more space for my projects in my head, and then I go to measure them out, and it's like, it's actually a lot smaller than I thought. I say smaller, this is still a decent sized garden bed. Alright, so next task. I've got to scalp this whole area, take that layer of grass off. So the plan is take the layer of grass off, turn it over, and then I'm going to cap it with compost and some garden mix and stuff that I had left over from all the other beds. Man, I'm glad that's over. We are sitting at 86% humidity today. I don't know what the temp is though. I'm saying it's about 20 degrees. So it is horrible. Denim shorts was a terrible idea. Now we need to turn this over. Get the tiller, turn this over, and we'll get our bags of compost and garden mix and all that and put it on top. I'm not going to mix it into this soil because there could be dormant seeds in here. Turn it all, mix it together. You could end up with just weeds everywhere. So we use the garden mix and the compost and stuff to cap this. Pumpkins planted. Now what do we do? I'm in two minds. Need to plant something in there, but then the pumpkins need space to. I think as it is, they're going to compete with each other a bit. Maybe just a big flower there, something that grows fast, like borage or something. I'm not sure. I'll think about it while we do the other bits and pieces. So my original plan was to interplant my potatoes with onions, because onions are a shallow root plant, potatoes are a deep root plant. They wouldn't necessarily compete with each other as long as you feed them enough water. But these potatoes are insane. I worked out it was only 4 weeks ago I planted the seeds and they're already like this. They're a foot tall out of the ground already. They're not mucking around. Maybe all that preparation I put into this bed was good, or maybe it was bad. Too much nitrogen, a lot of foliage growth, not enough root growth. So we'll find out when we go to harvest. But basically that's rendered my plan useless with trying to put onions in there, because if I put them in there, they're just going to get shaded out and get really leggy, trying to find the sun, and it's just no good. I was going to plant a heap of lower-lying flowers along here in front of the beans, because originally that's what this plan for this bed is, to be mostly a flower bed. So I'm thinking I'll put the onions in here because I really enjoy the sun they'll get. And I could probably do like so many onions and then a dedicated like 1 meter spacing for a flower, and then the next bit's onions and then another flower of some sort, something like that. So by the time the onions actually get big enough, these beans will be all the way up this fence by then. So nothing will be competing with each other for sunlight or water. Next on the to-do list. Next on the to-do list, we need to prune some of the tomatoes. They're getting quite bushy and all their branches are starting to weave with each other, which is going to minimize the airflow between them. It's going to start causing disease, especially with this humidity at the moment. From this point in October, almost at the end of October, right through to sort of end of December, January, it gets really humid around here. And then it dries out January, February. It gets quite hot. It's the last thing we want. So fused together. What in here is going on? They're all doing. Surely I haven't missed that many suckers. So while I was going through pruning and then checking for suckers and everything, we noticed that me and Carla on this plant the other day that the stem is fused in like 3 separate stems. I thought maybe we missed a sucker and somehow it's done something weird. But looking at these ones, they've all done it. I don't think it's my suckers because I've been going through and actively pruning them off. And then I found this leaf. There's 2 leaves fused together. So I did some Googling because I've never seen this before. It's called fascication. Apparently it's a phenomenon where the plant either itself is mutated or it's happened through stress and disease and stuff like that and damaging, and then it's healed itself. But I don't understand that with the stems where maybe you accidentally slice the stem and then it's sort of refused itself back together, healing and all that. But to have essentially what looks like Siamese twin leaves, I think my black crims are mutants. But I was doing a bit more research. I reckon it doesn't harm the fruit or your ability to eat the fruit from the plant or anything like that. So just keep an eye on it. There's not much I can do about where it's all fused through the stem. I'll try and get a shot closer of it and pop it up. But it said some active pruning might be able to negate some of its effects, but there's no way I can prune any of this without harming the plant itself and the main stem, which would cause it to want to bush out, which is what I don't want. I just want one main stem up. Well, that being said, I'm not getting one main stem anymore, am I? I think I might be running out of time. Looks like the rain's starting to come in. It's supposed to rain tonight, which isn't a bad thing. Need to fill up my tanks. They're emptying pretty quick with this new drip irrigation. Right, native corner, heap of flowers. Just annuals for now, because obviously next year I want to put manukas here, the flaxes that I've started growing and all that sort of stuff. So I'm thinking sort of low-lying, mid, and then tall ones. I got the Mexican sunflowers and those really big sunflowers. I've still got a few seeds left. I might just direct sow a heap at the back. We'll see how we go. Let's get this one done. And then we'll need a top dress the potato bed, give that a fert. And I got this Minna Lombardo that grew. I need to figure out where I want to put it. I need to build a trellis and let it do its thing. It's a vining flower. It can grow quite tall and wide. And it's a perennial, so wherever I put it, it's there to stay. It needs a bit of sun. So I'm thinking over by the brassica bed on that fence. We'll get sun for most of the day until the afternoon when it cools down a little bit. This humidity is killing me. So, Lima Lombata is done. They can go to 6 feet plus tall, so I might have to add to that trellis that I'll put in there. So they look quite cool. Really cool flower from what I've seen. And then I'll put Calendula, Cosmos, and carrot flower all through this little piece here. I just scattered it everywhere. I didn't care about spacing or whatever. I'll let them compete for who's going to get the space and see what it looks like in a couple of months. And I might do more up that part of the fence because it's about that much of a drop off from the concrete between the fence and the concrete. So fill that up and fill the flowers. So I managed to dig in a garden bed, plant some pumpkins, plant out my onions and some flowers, did the flowers in the corner, prune my tomatoes. What else did we do? Oh, plant these flowers as well. It's just not bad for a few hours work and stopped in between all that sort of stuff. It's a bit of a headache, so I'm going to call it. And I'll see you in the next one.